All right, what's going on, beautiful people? It's the NS9 Postgame show, powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm Tyler. With me is my dude, Dougie Fresh, in the flesh. What's going on,
I was
Dougie?
a little late. I was out getting Brian Reynolds a baby shower gift. So, as Bucko Mike, I don't know if you heard the news, but we've got Prego Reynolds this year. That, to me, that's the biggest thing that occurred in the entire game. So that was the first I heard of it. Maybe everybody else knew.
I'm glad you broke the news here. Hey, before we get into this thing, the Pirates end this thing in a 8-8 tie. That's spring training for you, fellas and ladies. So what we're going to go ahead and do tonight, just because it's my first show, and Doug, this is your first show as well, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Since it's a tie, let's just go ahead and kiss our sisters. We're going to call this thing like one sandwich giveaway type of deal. So anybody watching, make sure we drop a hashtag raise it in the comments. You will be entered to get just one Primanti Brothers sandwich for the spring training game, because it was a tie, and I just feel wrong giving away two because it's just not the same. It kind of devalues what already happened. There we go, OG. There we go, Penn. Our regulars are back in full force. Doug, before we get into this entire thing here, let me tell you guys about our sponsors. It's BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With our largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to $200,000 bracket contests, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Maybe the Pirates with that Cinderella story this year. Probably not. But
maybe.
I can hope, right?
But hey, we're still 0-0. So
what?
Tied for first.
Right. That's right, Doug. And again, let me just make sure I mention that. Hashtag raise it in there. You know what? Part of me wanted to go with like a kind of raise it type of deal, but I decided not to make it anything a little screwy. We went with hashtag raise it. Pirates, I'm so used to saying drop or win. They tie.
Pirates tie.
It's weird.
It is weird. It's spring training. Yeah, this was a very well. Actually, this game reminded me a lot of a May game, right? We had poor base running. In first four innings, we had bad pickoff throws, lazy errors. Somebody got thrown out somewhere. I was like, oh yeah, this is early season form for the Pirates. And then I had to sit through and listen to the Jim Leland interview. And I love Jim Leland. And Derek Shelton's like, oh, yeah, I pick his brain. I ask him all these questions. Well, you're not listening because Jim Leland is always talking to, Wayner kept mentioning, get him on, get him over, get him in type thing. When was the last time that Derek Shelton called for a bunt? When was the last time we tried to advance the runner?
It's spring training, buddy.
I'm just, look, spring training is spring training, right? I mean, just these are the things that stuck out to me. So.
You know what? And we're going to get through this game here. Before we get to the giveaway here, we'll get through the game. Andrew Heaney on the mound tonight. He has struggled pretty heavily, I think, at this point in the spring. And again, I've said it since basically we've been in Bradenton. It don't matter, man. Like we watched Bailey falter last year. He struggled heavily.
I was just going to say that, right? You know who struggled last year? Bailey Falter. We were outraged when he made the roster.
Right. And again, and maybe it's too obvious with the lefty on the mound, but you had Bailey Falter last year. We've seen Jose Quintana struggle in the spring. I go back to Edinson Volquez, who was awful. tonight. Bailey Falter. Good Lord, I'm already comparing him to him. Andrew Heaney.
Yeah.
I mean, he was okay.
Yeah.
He was fine.
I mean, right. I'm not going to get all up in arms about a veteran pitcher in spring training. Just not going to do it. We know what his track record is. He's the fourth starter. We know what he is. And that's exactly what I expect to see, game 4, game 5, whatever he pitches of the season. It's not at all concerned. Now, I mean, it doesn't mean he's going to come out and pitch lights out at the start of the season or anything like that. But for all we know, he's working on a new grip. He's working on a new pitch. Just going through the motions. I don't know. He's a veteran pitcher with a track record.
You're exactly right there with that, Doug. He is a legitimate veteran, like as veteran as a starting pitcher can get. This dude's been through so many of these. He knows what to do. Right now, you're just trying to build up Andrew Heaney. He has a entire career of being a very productive pitcher. So 3 starts in spring training will not affect an ounce of my thoughts on him.
Right.
And again, to go back to today, I thought he was better. You started to see him spinning a good bit more. The curveball looked a lot better. The location could have been better, but again, like you just mentioned, you don't know what he's working on. He could be just like it could be a lefty-righty matchup where I want to see how it works if I spin this curveball slider, whatever it is. I want to see how it works if I put it here. And that's what it's spring, man. Like,
right. No walks, 4 strikeouts.
That's the big thing. Like,
Doug,
we started to see him hone in on that command. And that,
right.
I think, to me, is the exciting part, is that we're starting to see some of these guys, maybe not exciting, but you know what I mean. We're starting to see these guys start to hone in on, hey, we're ramping up. The mess around time's done. And we're slowly seeing that with a lot of guys. As Dougie's dropping our Penny guy. Dougie and Penny.
There you go. Lucky Penny.
But what did you think about Heaney tonight?
I thought he looked better than what we've seen so far. Again, no walks, 4 strikeouts. If he can do that, if he can have 0 walks and a strikeout an inning, I think we're going to be very pleased with his results in the regular season. I've always liked him. I don't love him. He doesn't excite me, whatever, but he's solid. And that's, again, and it's sad that, in year 17 of this rebuild that we're still like, gosh, if he could just be average, it would be great. Right. But that's, exactly what he is. He doesn't need, right. He doesn't need to contend for the Cy Young. He needs what we want from him really is innings, some quality starts. That's all we're looking for. Give us a chance, keep us in the game. And he's a left-hander. It looks like he's found his control. I like I said, like you said right off the rip, like I said, I am not at all concerned about him. I'm an old man. I'm not very wise, but I have learned, don't get too worried about a veteran pitcher in spring training.
Right. Yeah. And I think you nailed it right there. Like, it's a veteran pitcher in spring training. They've been through this song and dance many of times. Like, if Andrew McCutchen goes 0 for 30 in spring training, I don't care. Andrew McCutchen knows how to hit major league pitching.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to see. You just want to continue to see the progress being made. And I do think we saw some progress out of him tonight. The Pirates did take an early deficit there. So first inning goes clean. Second inning, Northeast Ohio guy, Dylan Engler, hits a home run. He went to Maslin Jackson, I believe. So they take a 1-0 lead, then turns into 2-0, and then it turns into 4-0 very quickly. Fielding in that, really early on in general. Right. Fielding, if Doug, you mentioned maybe this is polite from Tyler here. Fielding, to me, there were many points in this game where I thought it looked a little bit lazy. And again, it's like ramping up the things, but there were some things that happened in the field where I'm like, all right, guys, like let's lock this up a little bit.
Heaney's kickoff was the laziest looking thing I've ever seen. He just sort of went, just sailed it. I mean, it seemed like he had no effort, no intent with it. It just,
I mean,
if there's anything I'm concerned about, that it's that pickoff move from
well,
Heaney, right?
hey, if you're
know,
concerned about pickoff move, then I'm okay with that. Like,
yeah,
if that's
exactly.
a
If
bad problem.
that's the worst scenario, yeah.
Yeah, but
So yeah,
unfortunately,
it's very frustrating Pirate stuff that we've seen too often for too long. Again, it's spring training. It's a night game. I don't think anybody probably wanted to be
not just
there.
a night game; it was a Friday night game.
Yeah, Friday night game, exactly. The game everybody was interested was played at 1:00 today. So they're like, and it's all these veterans. They're like, what am I doing here on a Friday night at a 6:05 game? Get me out of here. And that's what it looked like for the first couple innings.
Yeah, and I guess the one point I do want to touch on is any concern on Jared Triolo with 2 errors today.
No, he's a Gold Glove.
No.
He's a Gold Glover. He's been a fantastic fielder since he stepped on the field as a professional. I mean, obviously prior to that as well. Everybody has those kind of days. Gold Glovers have bad days. Guys make 3 errors in an inning. I mean, he just had one of those. He made a beautiful play early too. He made a great play earlier. It's Jared Triolo. And I am not at all concerned with Jared Triolo's fielding. Right? that would be, that's not on the list. It's not way down the list. It's not on the list. And he could have made 5 errors today. And I'd say, if he gets as many innings in the field as he did last year, there's a good chance he's got a Gold Glove again. So,
like if Jared Triolo was a quadriplegic at this point, I still wouldn't be worried.
Yeah, I'd still rather have him at shortstop than what we're doing. So, and the Pirates won't even play him at shortstop. So,
I mean, I just have no concern about him in the field. He did have a rough day today.
Yes,
but and again, it's not like it was anything lazy. I don't think from him. Just he didn't have it today.
He had a bizarro world day, right? He had 2 hits, right? He had 2 hits and 2 errors. So that's for a minute there, he forgot who he was, and got possessed by a hitter there for a second. So yeah, but as typical with the Pirates, a non-fielding hitter. So,
Right. But I mean, I think I don't even know. Like, nothing was really frustrating. Like, nothing will be frustrating in spring. But I mean, like, Tommy Pham probably should have put a little bit more effort there in left field at some point. But all things considered, it is what it is. If it becomes a reoccurring issue, then maybe you get a little annoyed. But a Friday night spring training game on March 14th, whatever, man.
Yeah. Personally, I wanted to. I don't blame him. I didn't want to watch. I wanted to go see Black Bag at the movies.
Let's be honest here. It was like a Friday afternoon at work where you're putting your feet up and like, if that passes through, it's fine.
Yeah, it's almost right.
That sounds like a Monday problem.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Pirates did take a pretty decent deficit there early. They were able to battle back, and there were some things I did like out of them there. I believe Nick York had an at bat that I really did like. I believe Brian Reynolds followed him up if I remember.
I don't think York didn't get a hit. I don't think.
Well, he had a good at bat. I thought
pretty good at bat. Yeah,
he walked. And I know it's spring where I'm just like preaching about walks here, but I like what he did.
Right. I mean, for some strange reason, our organization thinks that we can play baseball like the other teams. We don't have power hitters, right? We need to get and I mean, God, we struck out so much last year. We need to get walks. We need to get hits. We need to move all that sort of again, and it's there they're using it as talking points all year. Greg Brown won't shut up about it. It's now, and this is what they do every spring, though, right? Every spring they talk about hitting and moving runners and stealing bases, and they do that. And we get to April 3rd, and nobody runs. Occasionally, O'Neill Cruz. So I don't know if it's just our normal spring routine, but it was a nice inning. Right, it started out with the Triolo single, got a fan walk, a Reynolds.
Again, I'm in spring as well here, people. Nick York. I remember what happened. I believe it was first and second there with 0 outs. York, if I remember correctly, he had 2 strikes on him, and he just hits a little dribbler, but he puts the baseball in play, and he moves runners from second and I believe it was first and second. He moves them over with no outs. All he does is put the ball in play there. You move guys over, and then you get Brian Reynolds coming up, who does exactly what you want Brian Reynolds to do and what you want to see and what you probably will see from him all year, because he's a guy that we all actually count on, and you believe he will do what you want him to do. He just goes the other way with the baseball, drives in runs. That's all I need to see in spring. I want to see the approach. I want to see Nick York just put a baseball in play, move runners over, and then you got Brian Reynolds coming behind him, who is just the pro's pro as a hitter, and will just drive those runs in like it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, York's the guy that I have the most sort of hope for or faith in the sense that he actually has a track record of hitting all throughout the minors. He wasn't a big strikeout. We have a lot of guys that hey, they hit, but they strike out like crazy, and that only gets worse in the major leagues. So this guy actually hit throughout the minors. Was not crazy with the strikeouts. Had some gap power, that sort of thing. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him to start the season and that sort of thing. But I'm looking forward to him getting some plate appearances up here and seeing what he can do.
Yeah, I have a hard time not liking Nick York just based upon the bat to ball skills that he has.
Right.
It sounds really lame, man, but he just plays baseball. I think the right way, and by the right way, I just mean he puts the baseball in play.
Yeah, it's just right. It's refreshing to see. How many games did we watch where we had 15 strikeouts last year? You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God. It's part of the reason why I want to see Endy play. Like, again, he wasn't a crazy strikeout guy in the minors. It would just be nice if the Pirates could start, like you said, having productive outs. I mean, last year, remember what our green kryptonite was? Second and third and nobody out.
Yeah.
We'd have runners on second and third, nobody out. And that's where we would leave them. We'd 3 straight strikeouts, 2 of them looking, that sort of thing. I just make contact. Things happen when you make contact.
Yeah. So the Pirates did take I believe it was a 6-4 lead there. The Tigers do battle back. They have top prospect Max Clark. He was able to drive in a run there, and it was like Peter Strzelecki. I can't even pronounce his name. Like Strzelecki.
I think it's Rob Straczynski. I think that's how you say it. I'm pretty sure.
I tried to ban that guy's name from my brain, but yeah, Strzelecki. God, I'm not even going to try it. I just can't get there with my mouth. But yeah, he struggled. I'll go ahead and skip. We're just going to forget he exists because I don't imagine him really being productive on this major league team this year. The guy I do want to talk about, though, is Colin Holderman. Holderman, 2 strikeouts today. Thank God. He looked normal.
Yeah.
But after the Bednar performance, right. It's like, I kind of need one of you guys.
We didn't want to see that back to back, right? I'm Holderman looks like he's rounding into form. We've talked about this all the time. Relievers are weird, and they'll be dominant, and then they'll be terrible, and then they'll be dominant again. So hopefully, again, he can. He's still young. Wasn't last year kind of a second full season type thing?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So, he's growing. Hopefully he'll learn. He says, he's learned and he worked on it. And, he also battled some stuff. He had some injuries. He had that sickness where he lost all the weight. So yeah, and we need him because I don't think our all-star closer is. I'm not sure he's back, and I don't want to just anoint him as. I mean, I want Dennis Santana to be the closer. Um, but if they go with Holderman, fine. But then I want Dennis Santana to be the eighth inning
Doug
guy.
he's just dropping that right now.
Yeah.
We won Denny.
Yeah, listen, he's given up 1 run in the spring. And most of his outings, he gets 3 outs and like 7 pitches.
Mhm.
This, I'm not the pitching guru that you are, but I love efficiency. I love pitcher in today's baseball. You can't go 3-2 on everybody, right? They're not going to let you stay in the game. You're not going to be helping your team if you're at 100 pitches for 5 innings. My guy Mitt, again, we could go through everybody on this team needs to work at being a little more efficient with their pitches. So the fact that Dennis Santana, he didn't even pitch, and we're talking about him in a post-game show, but hey, it's spring. But yeah, he has been just fantastic this spring. He finished fantastic last year. He's the guy I'm most comfortable with at this point closing. Derek Shelton's not listening to me, but at his own peril.
Yeah, today was a little bit of a messy game. Like a good bit of errors thrown around here. Let's just go ahead and jump ahead here. Pirates take a 6-4 lead. Kind of poo-poo hits fan. I guess, what'd you think about G1 Bay? Because he's a guy that at this point,
I respect him.
He's moving his way up on the depth chart, I guess, where we're getting to the point where there's a shot he does make the team, I feel like.
I guess he's done everything that you could ask, right? He has hit the ball well. He's stolen bases. We've seen flashes of this from him before. It's spring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put too much stock in it, but given that left field doesn't exactly looked down at this point. Tommy Pham walks a lot. I love that. I think he's had his 10th or 11th walk tonight. So, but he's not hitting. And if you're going to platoon, it looks like it comes down to Sawinski or Bay. I'll let someone else flip that coin, but Bay is making his case. Right.
I mean, I know what I'm hoping for, but I mean,
there's
an argument either way at this point. Like,
yeah,
I think they can get creative with the roster. Like, it doesn't. I don't know if it has to be one or the other. Like that.
No, I mean, I know it certainly doesn't have to. Depending. Depending on what they do at first base, depending what what if they plan on platooning someone with Pham, or who they're going to run out there every day, all that sort of stuff. So. We won't know until they announce those rosters, and then we still won't know because that could change in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So that made it well, that didn't really make it. It was kind of a weird game, man. Like the score.
Yeah, it was.
It jumped all over the place.
Right, they were up 4-0. We took a 6-4 lead. They took a 7-6 lead. We took an 8-7 lead. Yeah.
Weird.
And then Andy gets thrown out at home.
Well, I mean, like it was
in spring night. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what? The only positive out of that was that he didn't get hurt.
A veteran probably told him. Somebody probably said, "Look, dude, just run to home. If you get thrown out, you get thrown out. If you score, whatever." But yeah, because no one's really concerned about putting this in the win column. They wanted the game to be over at that point.
Again, like we said on the pregame show lots of times, stay healthy. That's it. Don't get thrown out at home and get hurt. And it appeared he didn't get hurt or anything, but I'm just gonna go ahead and knock on wood right now. But he looked fine. Like nothing looked wrong. I'm overly cautious here. Knock. Aside from that, anyone in this game you really just want to touch on?
I mean, I guess I mean, usually in spring training, what I want to see is I want to see the young guys do well, right?
Mhm.
And that you're looking for, okay, we need Endy, we need Henry, we need,
Mhm.
but we're now getting to that point of the season where you want to see the veterans start
Yeah,
rounding into shape. So it was
right.
nice to see Reynolds have a couple of hits. It was nice to see O'Neill Cruz drive it. That sort of thing is, like it's fun to get excited about Gorski and it's fun to get excited about, some of these guys. But, I mean, we're usually such a hot starting team anyway. It would be, you want to make sure that these guys are, ready to go, firing on all cylinders. And
Right.
tonight we got a lot of production. Nick Gonzalez knocked in runs.
Yeah.
Triolo's hitting 300, and early in the spring he didn't. He looked like he had never held a baseball bat in his life. He looked so lost. So I don't know if they're. Our new hitting coach is working some magic with these guys, but again,
I'm
it's nice to
hoping
see
so.
some of these. I mean, guys, now we're seeing guys that we expect to be on the opening day roster produce a little. And so, yeah, there was no real any one great standout or anything, but it was nice seeing. Again, they
Yeah.
scored some runs. And they did it. They didn't hit any home runs, right? I don't.
Right.
Was there any? Was there any even doubles? I mean, it was a
Yeah.
bunch of.
Andy did have a
And he
double
had that
there.
late double, yeah. But I mean that the inning where they scored the 6 runs, that was walks and singles and some misplays or
Right.
bad pitching from Detroit. But whatever. I mean, how many times have we seen a bad pitch? Last year I think 23 different pitchers had their career high in strikeouts in a game. And you don't fact check me on it. It was 23. Um, so when the pitchers are actually giving you something, take it, because we haven't always done that. We've had some guys who were trying to throw the game away, and we like, no, we're swinging at that junk. It was a ball, but we're going to swing at it anyway. So,
Well, again, the Pirates tie. They kissed their sister today. I don't know who their sister would be, but we're going to go ahead and give away one Sammy. And we only have 13 entries in that, guys. Hashtag raise it. Come on. You want a Primanti Brothers sandwich or not? Give us some love.
yeah, come on.
Hey, we'll go ahead and give that away here shortly. And it's spring training for everyone. It's spring training for the fans, Doug.
Right. They're not ready. They're not ready. Well, I mean,
They weren't expecting it.
it was a tie. So
Yeah.
that, of course they didn't come, they weren't sure. The questions were.
It's a surprise sandwich. So let's go ahead and give this thing away real quick. We're up to 14. There we go. Let's give her a
Get
whirl.
in there. Like and subscribe. Oh,
please be Bucko Mike. Please be Bucko Mike. Please be Bucko. You know what, Josh? Congratulations, my man.
Congratulations, Josh. It looks like your pictures with somebody. You're gonna have to share a sandwich, but that's fine.
That's tough. But
those sandwiches are so good, so big. It'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You might want to order a couple extra. But Josh, go ahead and get a hold of us on Instagram, Twitter, email. It's northshore9@gmail.com. Get a hold of us anywhere. Comment again, whatever you want to do. We'll find you. But congratulations, you got just one today. Just one, but keep coming back and we'll keep giving them out. Hopefully we get some Bucko wins where we can give out maybe 100 this year. That'd be great.
It'd be nice. Now we're giving out 4 now after win. Is that correct? Last year we gave out 2. This year
that's above my pay grade. I have no idea.
Yeah. The corporate overlords don't tell me much either. Right. That's why I was asking you.
I don't read text very well, so I don't know. I don't know what the plans are. I'm the last person to ask. But hey, spring training for us, spring training for everybody. Pirates tie weirdly. You ready to get out of here, Doug?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you guys for joining in. Appreciate all of you. Stay with us all year. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff. Again, well, not again, actually. This Sunday, MLB The Show, our guy, Cody Coleman, will be hanging out with Nutsy. I'm playing MLB The Show. And there we go right there.
There it is. I
Bernardo
thought so.
comes through with the clutch. But our friend Cody here from North Shore 9, he'll be playing with Nutsies on Sunday. Follow us on everything. Tune into everything. I believe we're giving away a copy of MLB The Show. So make sure you tune into that Sunday, open day. No football on, nothing. We're not in March Madness yet. You want to watch sports? Watch Cody try to hit a baseball in a video game. Good luck. It's hard. We're going to watch Cody do it together. And we're going to make fun of him together. And you might get a copy of MLB The Show.
And you might get MLB The Show. Come on.
It's going to be fun, man.
I listen to other podcasts. They're not giving anything away.
They sure aren't. But us and North Shore 9 and our guy Cody, he's going to do it. So, appreciate all you guys. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Doug, any last words?
Hey, see you guys soon. Less than 2 weeks away for the regular season opener. And,
yeah, we're getting there.
It's time. I'm we're to that point in spring training now. It's like, okay,
I'm ready to go.
Let's have these games count. So,
right. Let's do baseball now. All right. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Join us all year. Join us on Sunday. Join us all the time. We're here all the time. All right.
Yeah. Get used to seeing this because
this ugly mug's not going anywhere
for the next 6 months, boys and girls. The next 6 months.
Appreciate everybody. We're out of here. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.